As we all know, large reptiles are just amazing. Some coming in such impressive sizes, it's no wonder why everyone wants them. However, just because you want some of the big boys doesn't mean you can exactly care for them or have the means to house them. So I thought I'd take today and talk about a video going for the top 5 substitutes for these large amazing animals. So with all that being said, let's sit back, relax, dive into some large reptiles, and then 5 smaller reptiles that look pretty much the same as these large reptiles, and roll the intro. And kicking off this list, we're going to be starting with number 5, the Argus Monitor. Now, if you guys have been fans of the channel for any amount of time, you guys know that I absolutely adore my Argus Monitors. They are incredible, athletic, fast, with just enough attitude to make things interesting. However, there might not be people that are as crazy as me and want an animal that is going to get 4.5 to maybe possibly 5 feet, that is going to have this athleticism, this speed, and also the attitude that maybe misses your hand and mistakes it as a Pinky Mouse. I guess what I'm saying is there are probably sane people in the world that see this as not good quality, whereas I see it as a fun time. But for those of you that do enjoy that spazziness, you know, that just bouncing off the walls kind of reptile, however, you really just don't want it in a, well, almost 5-foot package, then I believe the Ackie Monitor would be a really good choice for you. I'll be the first to admit, I stuck my nose up at Ackie Monitors. You know, when I had monitor lizards, I'm thinking, I don't want a 2-foot monitor lizard, that's lame. No, if I'm getting a monitor lizard, I want the big boys, no small guys. However, my tune really changed when I actually acquired my pair of red Ackie Monitors. I've actually had a really great time with them. They've really impressed me at not only the intelligence behind the Ackie Monitor, but just how fun of a lizard they are. I mean, honestly, they still have that Argus, you know, zipping across the walls. However, it's in a much more manageable size, a 4x2 or a bit larger, whereas an Argus Monitor would need a much larger enclosure than that. But you still get a good quality engagement with them, and they're fun to interact with, and all in all, I think they make great reptiles. But hey, maybe lizards aren't your thing. Maybe you're looking for a good substitute for the snakes out there. Of course, the 3 giants. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that with number 4, the Burmese python. Now, I know I could have gone with any of the large giant snakes, but I think Burmese pythons don't get enough credit. They really are this, I feel like they are, you know, I don't have it, this is all anecdotal, I don't have any real hands-on experience, but as far as from what I've seen and what I've read, Burmese pythons seem to have a much better temperament than their cousins, the reticulated python. They seem to be a lot less spastic, a lot less defensive, and, oh, what's that word? Feisty. Feisty is the word I'm gonna choose with today. Burmese pythons are a lot less feisty than the reticulated pythons. However, just because they have a better temperament does not mean they don't have that great size. Of course, Burmese python being absolutely massive. Again, that 13+ feet, man. Those are big snakes, and of course, what do big snakes need? They need big houses, an enclosure size that not many can possibly obtain in a regular household. In order to get the Burmese python, you're gonna have a lot of love for that snake, and you're gonna take up a pretty good chunk of your spare reptile room, whatever spare room you're keeping reptiles in. But doesn't have to be that way. What if I were to tell you there is an animal with just as good of a temperament, looks similar, you know, not exact identical, but looks similar, and is all in all a really incredible snake. Actually, one of the snakes I say is the best large snake. Yes, that is gonna bring us to the alternative, the red-tailed boa. No, the common boa, not true red tails, blah, 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 leave your comment. Yes, red-tailed boa, but most likely the common boa. They're gonna be a much better alternative. Like I said, they look similar. It's not an exact depiction, but you know, brownish, you know, when we're talking about the wild types, boa is brownish. You do the math. They look kind of the same. But what's gonna be vastly different is the size. Of course, common boa is getting from anywhere to 6 feet to 10 feet, depending on if it's male or female. That is gonna be a lot more of an attainable size than talking about, again, that 13, 14, 15 to 27-foot Burmese python. As far as an adult red-tailed boa goes, you are going to need something as far as a 6x3 as a minimum, maybe a little bit taller if you do have a large female, or a little bit larger, I'm sorry, if you have a large female, but mostly a 6x3 is going to be your best chance as a minimum enclosure size. However, although they are smaller, you still get that amazing personality. I absolutely adore my boa, man. She has been incredible. My nicest snake, something where you can just mess with their face. I've never had her strike at me. I've never gotten anything where I'm like, oh man, this snake is kind of scary, man. I need to really know what I'm doing. No, I feel like anyone can really handle a boa. They're just incredible animals. And yeah, common boa, a great alternative for the Burmese python. Okay, I thought I'd spruce up Toad's enclosure with this fake plant, and the doofus is trying to eat it. Oh my god, why? Oh, now that I have your attention about that funny bearded dragon, maybe go down there, hit that subscribe and like button. Thanks. Next reptile. But getting down this list, we still have plenty of large reptiles and alternatives to talk about, and that's going to lead us to number 3, the iguana. The iguana, man. Everyone's most impulse and then worst decision they've ever made, reptiles. For the cool price of $20 at any pet store, you can have yourself a 6-foot+ lizard with a bad temperament. I don't think I need to tell you why green iguanas are probably not the best choice. Again, that 5 to 6 foot lizard arboreal, so not only are you gonna need a hella large enclosure, but it also needs to be tall as well. That is a big thing, a big enclosure that not everyone can do, not to mention not everyone can probably stand up with the temperament of the green iguana. All in all, I really think these guys don't make great pets, although like how readily available they are, I really think just a few people, I've actually only seen a few people that get the iguana, treat it right, grow it up to an adult, and still continue to love their iguana. I'm going to be one of those people someday, but that day's not today. However, there is an animal, a great alternative for the iguana that I have and I absolutely adore, and that is going to bring us to our alternative, the Chinese water dragon. Yes, the Chinese water dragon, otherwise known as the poor man's iguana. This is a reptile for you. Not only do you still get those brilliant greens, that cool spikiness, usually in the males, but the females are still pretty cool too. You get it in a much smaller package, pretty much half the size. Usually Chinese water dragons aging or ranging anywhere from the 3 foot, maybe a little bit less. You have a much more manageable size, but still a really cool looking reptile. Mentioned, the price is pretty much the same. Iguana's going for around 20 bucks, maybe they're a little bit more now, whereas Chinese water dragon's going for around 50 or 60 at the pet stores. $30 extra and you get a much more manageable lizard that still looks really awesome. I think the Chinese water dragon is one of my coolest looking reptiles in my collection. Of course, those big old jowls, that amazing colorful chin. I don't know why they have really colorful chins, those impressive spikes, and that lovely fluorescent green. Chinese water dragon, absolutely better alternative than the green iguana. But alright, you know, we talked about one snake a little bit, but maybe pythons and boas aren't your thing. Maybe you're a colubrid guy. Yeah, maybe you want a colubrid, and maybe the reptile exactly you're thinking of is going to be number 2, the indigo snake. I'm not going anywhere, I'm just filming a video. Hands down, the indigo snake has to be the coolest colubrid you can have. A jet black giant snake that is still a colubrid is just incredible. However, what's not incredible is the price tag, the legal hoops you have to go through, and again, that big size. Yes, not only are indigo snakes a rather expensive snake for reasons we'll get into in a minute, they're also a very large size, an 8-foot+ colubrid. Now, we're not talking about a boa or python, an ambush predator. We're talking about a snake that is on the move. So, of course, you know, with the boas, you can kind of get away with that 6 foot by 3 foot, but a snake that's getting 8.5 feet, it's gonna need some actual room. This isn't a snake that just hangs out all day like a ball python. No, it's gonna want to explore, it's gonna be around, and it's gonna want a large enclosure. In fact, it's actually been shown that indigo snakes in the wild will span across their territory ranging around 1 square mile. So they'll be moving a square mile at a time throughout the day. I feel like you're gonna need a pretty big enclosure to try to mimic that. You're not gonna get a square mile enclosure. Don't ask me to source that information. I can't remember. It might have been on a podcast. That guy might have been lying. It might have been an actual nature document. However, it's something that I told you guys, the fans. The more you know. Bottom line, they're big snakes, they like to move, and of course there are some legal hurdles around them. They are protected in the United States, which is where they're native from, the US, if you guys didn't know, and you're gonna need a couple permits in order to get them. Not only do most states not recognize or not allow you to own them, actually I think most states in New England are pretty much against the owning of the indigo snake. However, they also need because they're federally protected, you're gonna need a state-by-state transport permit. So 2 permits, depending on where you live, maybe just 1, and of course the large sums of money that they also cost. All in all, indigo snake, very beautiful, but also a huge pain in the butt when it comes to trying to get it into your hands. However, what if I were to tell you there is a snake that is pretty much similar, you know, not as cool, but still that jet black, beautiful, melanistic type color, and for a fraction of the price, and for the fraction of the size? That is gonna bring us to number 2, or the alternative, Mexican black king snakes, that's what we're getting. They're the MBKs, yes. Again, otherwise known as the poor man's indigo snake, Mexican black king snakes are cool. Of course, I had my pair for a little bit. I tried my luck at breeding them. My first time ever trying breeding colubrids, it did not go well. I ended up selling them for the super red tokay that we have now. But the Mexican black king snakes, they're a cool snake. Jet black, even those black eyes, man, it is an incredible looking snake. I had a lot of fun with mine. All in all, I think they're a cool snake. You can keep them relatively small and close. I mean, way smaller than what you would put an indigo snake in. And, well, they don't have the intelligence like an indigo snake has. I've heard plenty of amazing stories of how awesome indigos are. I still think they're a very fun snake, and for a $300 price tag over a $1,200 plus the permit fees, you might want to choose MBK instead, or maybe just start out with one. Yeah, I don't know what that was. I was gonna say something else and I stopped myself, so it made me go, maybe one. I'm sorry, I apologize. But alrighty, folks, getting down to the last reptile at hand. Of course, a monitor lizard that maybe isn't everyone's dream pet, but is everyone's goal pet. I think that's a good phrasing. Everyone's goal reptile, the creme de la creme of what they want to end up with. However, it's a bit of a difficult situation to end up getting one, but I think most people can do it. Sorry, I'm monologuing right now. Number one, I was gonna say Chinese water dragon. The Asian water monitor. Yes, the Asian water monitor. A very, very incredible water monitor. Set upon to be one of the easiest monitors to tame down for. That's biased person, by my opinion. Don't grill me in the comment section. I think they tame down rather great. I think they make incredible pets. I honestly think they are the best monitor lizard out there, you know? Impressive size, cool wateriness, they love the water, of course water monitor, and they tame down rather great. I mean, it's the trifecta right there. However, for what my trifecta is almost of a hurdle for others. You know, these are large water monitors, 6 foot plus. In some cases, of course, they're gonna need a rather large enclosure with an also rather large swimming area. Of course, I've seen most people, of course, nerd Kevin McCurley, they actually fashion old bathtubs for the water monitor's water. So if you're thinking to yourself, how much water do I really need? A bathtub to start with. I've seen a lot of people use these cool ponds. That's definitely the route I'm gonna go, as a custom pond thing. I think I'm only gonna just stick with one, a coming eye if you guys are interested. But yeah, water monitors, although incredible, it's a hurdle getting them everything they need, not only for enclosure size, but of course water features, etc. But what if I were to tell you there is a monitor lizard out there that is less uncommon, less seen in the popular civilians, reptile civilians' eyes. It's still really cool, a brilliant color, I absolutely love them. Still retains that water, maybe not as nice, maybe not as friendly as the water monitor, but still a very cool lizard, and that's gonna be the alternative, the quince monitor. Otherwise known as the poor man's Asian monitor, by me, Dakota. I'm coining that term. Everyone else did the poor man's iguana, poor man's indigo. I am coining poor man's Asian water monitor. Quince monitors are awesome, man. Of course, I have quite a few quinces. I believe I'm up to 4 right now. My trio of babies that are not looking like babies anymore. They're growing up. I really miss my little tiny quinces. They're getting kind of big now. And then of course my adults, or not adult, but sub-adult high yellow quince. Quince monitors are awesome. I absolutely adore watching my quince monitors swim. It is very cool. I keep wanting to go larger and larger with the water feature because I want to watch them like just swim for like even like 20-30 seconds. I just want to see them dive down and stuff. So you'll probably see me getting a koi pond for one of my quinces here pretty soon because I really just want to see like a deep dive expedition for the quince monitors. At about half the price as an Asian water monitor, half the size, and half the friendliness. But all in all, I think quince monitors are a great alternative to people that are really fascinated and really digging the Asian water monitor, however, just don't have the space for it. Quince monitors can be your lizard, you know, 3.5, sometimes 4 feet. Still need a pretty large enclosure. They are arboreal, they need a large water feature as well, but definitely not the size that an Asian water monitor would need. And there you have it, folks, the top 5 large reptiles with the 5 best alternative for them, or substitutes. I don't know what I'll title this video. What was your favorite one? You think I was good on this? You think, Dakota, man, these were awesome substitutes. My God, you knocked it right out of the park, sir. Boom. Or do you think, Dakota, You're crap! Oh my god, I flung that too hard. People watch the end of these videos, they'll slowly see that I'm losing my mind. Alright folks, I was gonna wrap it up for today. If you haven't had enough of this top 5 video goodness, of course we got a nice playlist right here, a couple awesome videos down there, and that's where you hit the subscribe button. That is gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, goodbye. Oh, is this thing still